being normal, ladies and gentlemen. So, for the first time ever on this episode, we're going to talk about the appropriate age.
Mhm.
Oh, the appropriate age to be tried as an adult, ladies and gentlemen, and expanding on that topic, the appropriate age of certain other things. We'll get to that in a second. Now, where do you live, ladies and gentlemen, and where do you live, Mr. Larry Gaines?
I'm in the wonderful state of New Jersey.
Okay. Now, into your understanding, into your knowledge, what age should be the appropriate age for a teenager or, say, child tried as an adult?
Well, I would think it all depends on the crime, the circumstance. But I would say around 16 years old, you're starting to cut it. So if you start to create some crimes, after 16 years old, and getting real close. I think 14 might be too young. 14, 15 might be too young, but 16, depending on the crime. Yeah.
Okay. I'll put this back. It's time to get serious, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I have a list here of the 50 states, not including Hawaii or Puerto Rico, of the levels and ages of such things. So we're going to go alphabetically. I don't do this. I just find it. I'm going to skip a couple that are not that important. Let's go with Alabama, right? Civil age of majority, 19 years old. Age of criminal responsibility and majority, 18 years old. Age juvenile case can be that can be transferred to adult court. What age do you want to think, Mr. Larry Gaines? And down in the chat, what age do you think is going to be? I'll give you guys 5 seconds.
I'm thinking something crazy like 14.
Son of a bitch, you got it right. 14. Damn it, that was a good ass one. Nice. Okay, 14 with a juvenile court hearing, 16 direct file for Class A felonies. That's crazy. So a 14-year-old kid riding dirty or have a gun, you got to get, that's messed up. Shout out to you, Stratton. Hello. Now, let's go down the list a little bit more. Alaska. By the way, the age of criminal responsibility, the majority of them are 18. So I'm not going to say those names or those numbers. I'm going to tell you the age juvenile case that can be transferred to adult courts. Those numbers. Now, in Arizona, there is no age. Okay.
Again? What's that mean? There's no age.
As in, there is no age that is to be an adult. That's kind of scary. That means a baby can go to jail.
Yeah, I thought that's what you were.
Cool. Shout out to you. I'm gonna give you the story that we talked about in the. I'll stay here. You're gonna hear a beautiful story time. Now, continuing on. Let's see. Arkansas, 14. California, 16. Colorado, 15. Connecticut, 15. Delaware, 14. Which is kind of weird for Delaware, but it's Delaware. You know how it goes. Florida. The juvenile offender must be at least 14 years old to be tried as an adult. So 13, anyone in Florida, go get a gun. I'm not saying that to do that really, just, that's a joke. Continuing on. Here's a funny thing. Georgia, 13 to 17 for certain offenses. Okay.
I kind of figured that.
Not kind of about that. Now Hawaii. I thought Hawaii wasn't included, but it was. On after 16 and alleged to have committed act that would constitute felony if committed by adult under certain circumstances. Minimum age on after 14 and alleged to have committed act that constitutes a felony if committed by adult. So between 14 and 16. So that's kind of like crazy if you think about it that way. Moving on. Idaho. Okay. Generally 14. No shame to Idaho, ladies and gentlemen. No shame to Idaho. Just Idaho. Generally 14. I know. But for certain offenses in Idaho code, murder, arson, there is no minimum. Oh, this is messed up. I'm going to say this again. Generally 14, but for certain offenses in Idaho code 20/509, arson, etc., there is no minimum age. So don't be crazy in Idaho, ladies and gentlemen. Now we're gonna skip on. Oh, this one's really, really special. Indiana. Upon waiver, motion by prosecutor and finding of juvenile court 12 to 16 for certain major felony offenses, no minimum age for felony offense, and previous felony or non-traffic misdemeanor conviction. So in Indiana, there is no limit. There is no limit, honestly. So let's go to places that I know that people might think of. Kentucky, 14. Maine, no minimum age. So you can be tried as an adult whatever year in Maine. Massachusetts, 14. Mississippi, 13. Shout out to King the Destroyer. Missouri, 12.
Wow. That's crazy.
Here's something crazy. Generally 12, but for certain offenses in Missouri code, first degree M, second degree M, forcible R, forcible SODO. You can finish that word. There is no minimum age in those cases. So let's go to New Jersey, right? Nevada is 13, New Hampshire 15, Nebraska 14, Montana 12, New Jersey. There's actually an addendum for this. Okay, that's kind of fucked up. But let's go. Let's find out together, Laren. All right. A discretionary and presumptive waiver can be used for youth age 15 and older that meet statutory delineated offense criteria set forth in New Jersey SA 2A/4A/26.1. So that's damn. New York 13, North Carolina 13. Let's go to Philadelphia because I want to know. Pennsylvania. Automatic certification to adult court if murder. M. 15 plus with the commission of certain crimes with a deadly weapon. 15 plus charged with certain crimes and who have previously been educated, delinquent of certain crimes. Prosecutor can file motion to everything. Okay, let's get blah, blah, blah. West Virginia and Wyoming. Shout out to Lone Sniper Wolf. Blank. Huh. It just says blank. Washington, D.C. is 12. You can try as an adult, 12. Yep.
Easy too.
Vermont, 16-19. Utah, the Mormon state, 14. Texas, 14. Tennessee. Depends on it actually just says 3 words. Depends on offense.
I kind of agree with, I think most of them should be put that way.
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about the fact that most states that are not really known are used to saying, hey, there's no age. Is that fair? In certain cases, like first degree M, second degree M, R, and the SODO word. Those cases, what about that?
Well, like I said, it all depends on the circumstance because all of those situations that you just named, minus the last 2, it really all depends. Like, there's always 2 sides to a story, and the truth is always somewhere in the middle. So it's great for one person to say one side of the reason why this happened, but you really got to dig deep and find out what happened on the other side to cause some of these situations. Minus the last 2 that you said, because the last 2, even one of those, sometimes there are setups and stuff like that, and then it comes out years later that it was a setup. So I don't know.
Okay. So let's splinter that for a second. Let's splinter the appropriate age to certain other things in cases. Appropriate age for child support.
The appropriate age? Well, I guess depending on the state, when they're able to go to work, because once you're able to go to work, that's it. You better get yourself a job.
That was the second question. So yeah, appropriate age for work now in this world. And I'm not talking like 9, 10 years old. Let's exclude that. But let's say a very genetically strong 11-year-old kid that looks like a freaking 25-year-old now wants to work at a job. I used to do that at 12 years old, but I'm not like genetically jacked like everybody else. Is that appropriate? Obviously, if he studies and goes to school and has good grades and doesn't falter and has a great education and is, a lot of factors. But ultimately,
if he wants to get a job just to get a job, or he wants to get a job because he has to support a child.
Yes, both. Probably both.
Well, I say if he wants to get a job just to get a job and he's underage, probably not.
Okay.
But if he wants to get a job and then he has proof that the reason why he wants to get a job is because he has to take care of his responsibility, sure, why not?
Okay. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. That's all right. Appropriate age to get married.
Oh, that's
Yeah, that's right. We go into these questions, Laren. Come on now.
that's tough because I really would keep it at 18,
Okay.
only because when you're young, you do some stupid things.
Okay. Okay.
So I would
Okay.
keep that at 18.
What if you were like, I don't know, like in a different country and you loved each other and you didn't really care? Because you remember, and
Well,
I'm not endorsing this, ladies and gentlemen, but back in the day, people used to get married really young and just be with each other for a long period of time. That's how it was. You were married at 12, and that was the same phallus, same hole for the rest of your life. That's it, man. All right.
I mean, if the country supports it and it's part of the culture, sure, why not?
Last question. The appropriate age to vote.
When you're able to work.
Okay. Bonus question before we go on to the next subject. Appropriate age to buy land. That's a good question.
I would say when you're able to work.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
I was thinking about that Tom Cruise, Nicole Kidman movie. They were going off west, and they're just like trying to find like lands. So I was thinking about that. Like a kid should have dreams of having a house and having a place to stay. Like not to be like, oh, I want to get a wife and kids. Like no, I want to have a place to stay. I mean, most people would be like, I'm gonna live in my mom's house until my mom dies, and then I'm gonna no. That doesn't work that way. I love my mom's house, for example, and I'm not trying to. No. Okay.
But the voting, when you're able to work, because they're paying taxes. So wouldn't that be crazy? And wouldn't that be a game changer if the young ones can vote?
That would change the game so
Oh,
much.
sure would. It sure would. And the same thing as buying property. Hell, why not? You're paying taxes already.
Yeah, you're paying taxes the second you buy a freaking iPhone at 14. Your mama's paying it, but you paying it too, boy. With all that stupid shit you're doing. But I get that. Shout out to that one person giving me a thumbs up.